get them wrong, okay? Now this says write word expanded in unit form and standard form before comparing. And we're going to do that on the place value chart, okay? So an example of the first one, 0.3 and 0.136. So I would put those on the place value chart. And then I would compare. Are they the same? Are they the same?
Nope.
Which one's larger? So then I go back to the paper and the alligator eats the largest number. So you're going to go back and forth between your place value chart and your paper. Okay? The next one. It says 3 thousandths plus 4 hundredths. So on my place value chart, I'm going to write 3 thousandths plus 4 hundredths. And then what will I fill in with? Zeros? So what's the answer to the second one? They're equal.
Oh.
Because that's the number I just wrote on my place value chart, isn't it? Okay, so let's take a look at the next one. It says 4 tenths, 3 tenths, 2 thousandths. So I'm gonna need a copy of this. So on my place value chart, let's see if I can just take that all off. 4 tenths. Whoops. 3 tenths, 2 thousandths. So if I fill in with zeros, I have 40.302, and we're comparing it to 40.32. Okay, you write it as I'm writing it. So are these the same?
Yeah.
The same? The same? The same? Which one's larger? All right. So 40.32 is greater than 4 tenths, 3 tenths, 2 thousandths. See how we're doing this? All right. So the next one, it says 24 tenths or 2.5. So let's look at that on the place value chart. 24 tenths. The last digit I write goes in the tenths place, correct? So there's 24 tenths. And you know which one's larger. Which one's larger? 25 tenths, 2.5. And it's going to make me scroll. Okay, now this one's trickier because they put it in expanded form, but we can do it. We'll just put it on our place value chart. So go to your place value chart, and we've got 3 times 10 to the third, 3,000. And we've got 4 times 100. And we've also got 2 times 1/10. So what number is this?
0.
3,402 tenths. Okay, let's see what the next one is. 3 in the thousandths place, 4 in the hundredths, and 2 in the tenths. Do we have the exact same number? Yes, we do. So let's write an equal sign. Okay. 5 times 1/10 and 6 times 1,000. So 5 in the tenths place and 6 in the thousandths place. All right. And what are we comparing it to?
0.3.
How do you say this number right here?
560,000.
560 thousandths. Without the zero, what would it be? 56 hundredths. Okay? So the same. Are they the same? Not the same. So 560 thousandths is more than 5 times 1/10 and 6 times 1,000. Okay, how do you feel about that? This problem, for some reason, messes kids up every year. So I'm going to see if I can help you so that doesn't happen. The first thing we have to do is put 7.77 on the place value chart. Okay? And I think on the test it's actually 8.88. So I didn't change it very much, did I? No. Okay, so that's done. I did that one. Okay? Now you need to multiply. So you're going to multiply 7.77 times 10 to the 4th power. What number is that? 10,000. And then we're going to have to figure out the answer. Okay? Now, here's the thing. I want to see if I can move that over. Show that on the place value chart. So, do you remember? Oh, it's not going to let me. Well, it might. Copy paste, right? I just did the first digit, but it's okay. So I'm going to move it how many places? All the way, 1, 2, 3, 4, move it down. Then what do I do? Fill it in with zeros, and I need 1 arrow. What do I write on top of that arrow? Huh?
10,000.
Times 10,000 or times 10 to the 4th power.
On the test, do we have to do that?
Yes. But it doesn't say so here. I think when I revised the test, I took something out that I didn't mean to. But you need to show multiply on the place value chart. Can you handle that? Okay, so what's my answer to this problem? 77,700. Okay? Now, this is the part that messes everybody up. It says divide the product from A by 10 to the 2nd power. The answer to a multiplication problem is a product. Very good. So this is my answer, right? 77,700. That is my product. Can you draw that arrow? So I'm going to put 77,700 divided by, what number is 10 to the 2nd power? 100. Good. Now, I think it's either the zero trick or the decimal trick. What do you think it is? Okay. So if it's a zero trick, 777. All right, so if you can remember what the product is and you get your answer right, can you just visualize me moving those 3 sevens over? And I think I moved the wrong 7s, didn't I? Because all of a sudden these aren't on the chart very well. Okay, let's look at the next page. Convert. Convert. I remember that word. Do you remember that word? It's all about the metric system. Okay? So when it says convert from centimeters to meters, I'm going to write down that little formula. Do you remember writing this earlier in the year? It's been a while. So I can actually look on my acre chart for metric conversions to double check to make sure I think I've got this right. So if I go from centimeters to meters, what do I do? Divide by 10 to the 2nd power, which, what number is that? 100. Okay? So get your little formula written down. That's the first thing you need to do. And then we're going to make a problem. 3.2 times 10 to the 2nd power or times 100. Now, I want you to go to your place value chart and just use it as a blank page. It'll be faster, okay? So somewhere on your place value chart, like up at the top or something, let's write 3.2. And we're going to move the decimal. So if I'm dividing, which way do I move the decimal? To the left. How many times for 100? 2. So watch me. 1, 2. Fill in with zeros. And you're going to erase your old decimal and your tunnels. Remember how we did that? Okay. So go back to the paper. Write your answer.
Wasn't it the song you told us? Did I tell you?
Yes. All right. How do you feel about metric conversions? Think you can handle that?
Yeah.
Especially if you study or practice tonight. Okay? Look at the next one. This one's fun. I think it is anyway. Okay, so it says average annual, that means in a year, rainfall total for cities in New York are listed below. Now this is kind of mind-blowing, I guess. New York City has 1.265 meters of rain a year. So 265 thousandths would be 265 millimeters. So that would be just a little bit more. It'd be 26 centimeters. So maybe like this much more? That much more. Okay? So that's a lot of rain for 1 year, isn't it? New York is lucky. I think if we got that much rain, it would flood our city. Don't you? Yeah, our town. Okay, so this says, put the rainfall measurements in order from least to greatest. So the first thing we need to do before we do this is what, boys and girls? Get your place value chart. Very good. And I'm going to have to make mine so you can see all the rows. Okay. So the first, and we're just going to do it in order. So I've got 87 hundredths of a meter. And this is 847 thousandths of a meter. I also have 1.7 meters and 1.265. Okay, so those go on your place value chart. And then it says put in order from least to greatest. So least to greatest. Now when I first looked at this, I thought this one, the bottom one, was the least. Because I was looking at the 2. And I was looking at 8872. But then I went, wait a minute. These top 2 are less than 1 whole meter. So it has to be one of these that's the least. Which one is it? The second one, 847 thousandths is the least. Okay, so put that on your paper. Which one is going to come next? 87 hundredths, right? 87 hundredths. Okay, now look at your place value chart. Which one's next? 1.265 or 1 and 265 thousandths. And the last one is?
1.7.
Okay, so you can handle that, can't you? I slightly changed the numbers from the test, but not very much. Okay? All right, so the next one gives kids trouble because if you get putting them in order from least to greatest wrong, you're going to miss the next 2 automatically. So we have to make sure this one's right. Okay, it says write the smallest total rainfall in word form and expanded form. So which one's the smallest? The first one you wrote. Okay, so you gotta get these in order from smallest to largest. So how do I write 847 thousandths? Well, I've got three parts. The first part is 800. The second part is 47. The third part is thousands. Okay, so capitalize the first word. So 800, that's my first part. 847. 47 is my second part. Notice I didn't say hundreds or hundreds because I'm just looking at this number 847. Then my last part is thousands. Okay, so expanded form is the next one. Now, a lot of times kids think this is unit form and they write 847 and then the word thousands, but it's not. It's expanded form. And what does the word expand mean? I think of a rubber band when I think of expand.
So like splitting?
No, I hope the rubber band doesn't break because that might hurt. What is it doing? Stretching it out, okay? So when you expand something, you're making it longer. Sort of. So let's look at 847 thousandths. Whoops, I'm on eraser. On the place value chart, and we're going to do expanded form. So you want fractions or decimals today, boys and girls?
Decimals.
Right? Circle what you want, but get it on your place value chart.
You only have to do one.
You only have to do one. You don't have to do both. Show me that you can do one. That's all I'm asking. Okay, so if I do, it's 3 digits, right? So it's going to be 3 sets of parentheses. So we have 8 times what?
0.1.
1/10? Okay. So it's either the fraction 1/10 or it's 0.1. And then we have 4 times what, Leo? 4 times what? Look at your place value chart.
4 times 10. 100.
4 times what?
100.
It's not 100. 100th.
Oh.
Put your TH on it.
On the test, you want us to write those numbers like 0.1?
No, you don't have to. You can choose one or the other. And then 7 times
0.0.
1,000th, then you've got 2 choices for how to write it. Okay? It's your choice. Can you go close the door for me, please? Although I don't think it's going to help. All right, how do you feel about expanded form? Okay, let's look at the last page. We're done with the place value chart. So it says round New York City's rainfall total to the nearest tenth. Okay, so I'm going to put tenth over here. And I'm sorry, I already made these copies. And I didn't want to redo it and put another row. So I'm just going to write underneath it. Okay? So does anybody know how much rainfall New York City had?
Like 1.268.
You're close.
1.25.
Okay, 1.265. Funny thing about it, well, I won't tell you now. I'll tell you in a minute. So this is 1.265 because it has to be New York City's number. Okay? And there are 2 important things here. You got to get the right number and you have to round to the tenths place. Okay? So let's say our rounding wrap while we do this. So the tenths place is which digit? Okay. Find the place value and circle that digit. Move to the right and underline. Get it? 0 to 4. Circle stays the same. 5 to 9. Add 1 is the game. Okay, stop. The 6. So the 6 is telling me to do what to the 2? Add 1. So that becomes 3. Now flex your muscles like a hero. Digits to the right change to 0. All the other digits stay the same. Yo, you're a winner in the rounding game. Okay, so let's see. Aiden, what should I write for my answer?
1.3.
1.3. Now, what do you think some mistakes are that kids make?
1.0.
You put 1.300. Some kids are going to forget this decimal since I didn't write it for them. So they might actually put 13 by accident. Just know that 13 is a lot of meters of rainfall, isn't it? Okay, so 1.3. Are you ready? Yeah. Okay. Imagine New York City's rainfall is the same every year. How much would fall in 100 years? Now we're not going with 1.3. We're going to go with the actual number from New York City. So what was that actual number?
1.265.
1.265
Times 10 to the second power.
times 10 to the, but let's do 100. Okay? And there's a reason for that. I'll show you in a minute. So, blank page or place value chart. Okay, so you grab it. I'm just going to go with my place value chart here. And I'm going to put 1.265.
I know that.
I know you do. But I'm doing a video here, so let's go through the steps. Okay? How many times will I move the decimal?
2 times.
Which way for multiply?
Right.
Okay? Then I erase my old decimal and my tunnels. And what do I get for an answer?
126.5.
126.5. Or 126 and 5/10. Or what's another way?
126 and a half.
126 and a half meters. Okay, now I want you to watch me do this next thing, okay? So put your pencils and everything down. We solved that problem. We took it times 100 for 100 years, okay? Now let's see if this actually works. Copy, paste. It says, write the equation using an exponent that would express the 100-year total rainfall. So now, Iker, what do you think we should write here? It's got to be an exponent. Which one is 100? Yep. Are you the one that said 10 to the second power to start with? That's why I asked you. So are they the exact same answer?
Yeah.
What's the only thing that's different? Yeah, we have to put the exponent here. I even underlined it for you. Did you notice that? Yeah. Okay, so that's your test tomorrow. Yep.